I'm about as real as they come.
All my beats tailored by Drew. House Digital.
Maserati Rick in Detroit, convertible bird in Miami. Graduated summa cum laude, strip club made a tsunami. Carlton Hines with the ball game, Grateful Edmonds with the snowflakes, Craig Pettis in the M-Town, Sal Magluta with the boat game, Falcone with the cocaine, like Freeway Ricky with the plug game, like Monster Cody in South Central, Larry Davis from.
Chief O'Neill says the investigation of the gang spread between the East River houses, Washington houses, and Metro North Plaza initially began last May, but efforts accelerated after the vicious shooting of Officer Randolph Holder in October.
Some of the people involved in that are some of the people involved in this case that started with
Randolph
that shooting.
Holder was born in Guyana to a family of police officers. His dad was a police officer. His grandfather was a police officer. And after his family came to America, Randolph followed in their footsteps and joined New York's finest. A week ago today, a shots fired call came over the radio. And as Officer Holder chased down a suspect, he was shot and killed in the line of duty. Officer Holder didn't run toward danger because he thought of himself as a hero. He ran toward danger because he was a cop. It was part of his job description, part of his calling.
Growing up, Officer Randolph Holder always wanted to be a police officer, just like his father and grandfather and great-uncle were back in his native Guyana.
So he came here wanting to serve, and the father tells a story of how he called him and said, when I come here I want to become a police officer, and he served this city immaculately.
Last night, Holder responded to shots fired near the East River houses. Police say he came face to face with a gunman, 30-year-old Tyrone Howard, who was fleeing from a drug shootout on a bike and had been on the run from cops for weeks.
He pulls out his weapon and he fires one time, striking the officer in the front of the head.
Police say Howard was a career criminal with 28 arrests, including one for allegedly shooting an 11-year-old in 2009. And he was being hunted by police in connection with the shooting of a man just last September.
It was a shooting towards an East Army gang member, and he's ID'd, and we've been hunting him since then.
Officer Holder grew up in Far Rockaway and was moving up fast in the NYPD. He was only one step away from detective, but always knew about the danger on the job.
He would say, you don't know how I face it out there. You don't know what I have to go through. You don't know where I work. Where I work is PSA 5. You don't know the people up there and how I got to stand up and make my money when the night comes.
Now, for the fourth time in 11 months, the NYPD is mourning the murder of another brave officer.
We always talk about, and you'll hear me when I deliver the eulogy for this officer, that we hope it never happens again. But the reality is, in this world we live in, it will happen again.
Now you're looking at purple bunting atop the precinct where Officer Holder works, and where right now many officials, many people from around the tri-state area have gathered to have a vigil in his honor. In the meantime, as for the alleged gunman, well, he is in custody. He's out of the hospital, and he's being questioned by police. We're live in East Harlem. Dick Brennan, CBS 2 News.
And now to a story first on 7. A major gang bust in East Harlem this morning. More than 30 people rounded up. Police and the FBI targeting several public housing projects.
This comes amid growing signs of gang warfare between the city-run buildings. This has been the most viewed story of the day on ABC 7 NY ever since we first reported it this morning.
Eyewitness News reporter AJ Ross is live in East Harlem with the latest. AJ?
That updated number is 32. 32 gang members arrested for narcotics and firearms after a year-long joint investigation between the NYPD and FBI. That huge takedown happened right here at the East River houses earlier this morning. And just a short time ago, NYPD brass confirmed some of those arrested were also connected to the shooting death of Officer Randolph Holder.
And this is a prime example of precision policing.
It was an extremely tactical operation involving both NYPD and FBI task forces that spread between 3 NYCHA housing properties throughout East Harlem and culminated in a massive raid at the East River houses early Tuesday morning.
We're able to take 32 very bad people off the street this morning. We're looking for a few more.
Chief O'Neill says the investigation of the gang spread between the East River houses, Washington houses, and Metro North Plaza initially began last May, but efforts accelerated after the vicious shooting of Officer Randolph Holder in October.
Some of the people involved in that are some of the people involved in this case that started with that shooting. So we made a pledge. I made a pledge to the people of East River houses and to Washington houses, and specifically a pledge to the people of PSA 5, the cops from PSA 5, that we were going to do our best to get the people involved.
Police sources say those arrested may be linked to as many as a dozen murders and more than 24 shootings. All 32 are now charged with conspiracy to distribute narcotics and are being prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office. While this was a huge victory, police brass admit they're still searching for a handful of others, and their work is not done yet.
Whatever level we take out, we're always looking to go the next level up.
Now, those gang members arrested earlier this morning are expected to be arraigned later today before a federal judge in Lower Manhattan. Live in East Harlem, I'm AJ Ross, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah. We back. It's your boy Popalot. Mob ties. We on our way to NYC with it. Uptown, Harlem, East Harlem, Washington houses to be exact, East River houses to be exact, and Metro North Plaza to be exact. So if you're in or around those surrounding areas, we need y'all in the comment box immediately. We need to hear y'all perspective or y'all point of view. Now, this story is going to take place circa April 2016, and we're going to be covering an organization by the name of the Broad Day Shooters. Now, I don't even really want to know if they deem themselves this. It sounds like something that the media kind of call you. Who knows, based on what you did. But if anybody heard about that, if they know, y'all get in the comment box. It's the first time it crossed my desk. Kind of want to see what y'all think about it. Now, the 3 key players that's going to stand out when I read the indictment are going to be a guy by the name of Hassan Alto, another guy by the name of Antonio Reyes, and also a guy by the name of Charles Kenyatta. So, based on the media coverage, which was kind of everywhere, all across the board, and mixed up, it seems like it was 2 drug factions going against each other. And even based on the government's indictment, the indictment was kind of in the subject line was 36 members of 2 rival Manhattan drug trafficking organizations operating in housing projects charged in federal court with narcotics trafficking and firearm offenses. So with that being said, we kind of really on Mob Ties, we rarely cover gang wars unless we're covering a specific gang, and I don't know the score on this, so I'm really not at privilege to speak on it as far as the gang war side of it. But what did catch my attention was I was doing research on another case, and I saw where an officer was killed in Harlem where he kind of stumbled on a drug shootout and noticed a assailant escaping, and he presumed to follow that individual. From some accounts I've seen where he got into a shootout with this individual and he was captured. But that's kind of gonna be the kicker with this story to me, because you know it's always one or two. Now, from all accounts, it looks like the gang was being investigated already. But what's one of the number one rules, if not the number one rule? We all know that violence begets police activity. We know that blood is never good for the money. So kind of with that being said, that pretty much put the FBI on the express train headed right to East Harlem, and it landed on the doorstep of the broad day shooters. And after doing my research, it was pretty much all of it happened by somebody that they say was loosely affiliated with the gang. So the moral of the story is, if you don't know it, if you ain't smart enough to pick it up right now, be careful who you associate with. Watch who you call your friends, and watch who you do business with, because what's loosely associated? Did he call me for some weed? Was he trying to be down with me? What's the situation was that? Because one thing they didn't say was he was a member of the gang. They said he was loosely associated and he was gang related. So I need to know y'all take on it. Y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Y'all get at me, get under the pictures, y'all get in the comment box. Y'all let me know who we need to cover, what cities we haven't been to yet, who we missed. I'm here for all that shit. You already know what it is. It's the mob. Mob. Ties.